So do you want to hear the story?
Yes.
Okay, so this young girl goes to Hollywood. And so she was secretary in the typing pool, and then I became secretary at ABC, and then I transferred over to Warner Brothers. And it was about 58, 59, 1958, 59, and I got to know everybody at Warner Brothers, and in the publicity department, they had like still shots of Sinatra and all the movies, different movies and stuff. And so if you went to my apartment, if you opened to get a pot or a pan in the kitchen, there were Frank Sinatra. I had him all over the place. I had such a crush on him. He was old enough to be my father almost, but I just thought he was the neatest guy in the way he sang. So comes the time of the Kennedy, it was election time, and Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and Joey Bishop, and I think Dean Martin owned a restaurant in Beverly Hills called Puccini's. Now, I was dating a guy who was a little probably on the edge of society. I mean, he wore all the best suits with the cufflinks and everything and was very slick, but you knew he was maybe a little connected. Really nice guy, though. And we'd go to Puccini's all the time because he knew that impressed me and I loved it and everything. And so I was working at Warner's as a secretary, and during the Democratic convention they needed to hire a few people extra because they knew the Kennedys and everybody would be coming in. So that was the days of cigarette girls. With the thing and the cigarettes, you know, in lineup. And so I can't believe that I did that, or that it was actually women did that. But anyway, I did it, and so I had a night job and a day job. And the routine was Maddie, who opened in Westwood called Mateo's, well, and a famous restaurant. Maddie was the floor manager at Puccini's. And then in those days they had a piano player in the bar. So the deal was, is he'd get a call, Sinatra's on his way, or the crew. So he would place, Maddie would stand at the front door and I would be standing next or whatever, and then they would cue the piano player to play High Hopes. He's got high, because that was the theme song for Kennedy's thing. And so it went. You know, we had to. And at 2 o'clock you got to close, but not, you know, if Sinatra was there, we all had to stick around. And he didn't buy those cigarettes for me. I did once go into his private area where he was having people for dinner, and I must say when I gave him the pack of cigarettes, I was like probably 19, I was underage for God's sake. He looked at me with those blue eyes, those appealing, sexy fucking blue eyes, and you could tell why he could own the world. I mean, he just, so he got his cigarettes free. And he was engaged at the time to Juliette Prowse. So they were all there. And I remember I never saw, but I did it so I could experience that and know the Kennedys were coming. And Teddy Kennedy was there, and he was just a young Turk at the time. I remember his pants were kind of caught up in his butt, and he kind of was doing that, you know, and he was just a kid. I never saw Bobby Kennedy or Jack Kennedy in person. But anyway, so that was that experience. And I remember one night Maddie called a taxi for me because I didn't have a car at the time, so I could get home because I had to get up and go to work the next morning. And so I'm standing out in front of Puccini's waiting for the taxi to come because we'd called for them. And the taxi comes, and Sinatra walks out of the club. It's like 2:33 in the morning. With the 2 hookers he's got, puts them in the cab, and they drive off, and I lost my ride. I don't know how I got another one, but that's true story. And Mateo's, Puccini's was where George Raft went, just probably 2 or 3 nights a week, you know, meticulous man. and sat in his regular George Raft booth. And he was a huge, my mother was like, he was to her the creme de la creme. So I got to know him, you know, just, hi, Mr. Raft, blah, 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 blah. So I had my mom come out and spend a weekend with me, and I had arranged to take her to Puccini's, and we sat with George Raft and, you know, visited and had some dinner and stuff. And she was like, it was a dream realized, you know. I think I must have come in knowing that life is about dreams being realized, and we just try to make them. Roski! Ross, he's coming, Luke. Okay. So, yeah, that was my Sinatra deal.